Hey guys, Cade Brewster, and I am back with the next video in our AI maturity model video series. I was traveling for work last week, so I apologize for a bit of the hiatus, but I'm back. And today we're going to talk about level 7 in our AI maturity model, which is AI vendor replacement. So, as a quick reminder, in our past videos, and if you haven't seen our past videos, go check them out. We talked about first levels 1 through 4, which is AI foundation. You have to understand, identify ownership on your core processes. You have to define your KPIs, understand what success looks like from a measurement perspective. There's a lot of work that you have to do to lay a procedural foundation for effectively integrating AI into your business. And at that stage in the AI maturity model, most AI usage is going to be ad hoc by specific subject matter experts and stakeholders, or there might be a few tactical low budget solutions where you're going to integrate them and do really, really specific functions, right? So then we get to level 5, AI data preparation. And this is where, as a business, you have to make a significant investment into building an architecture that supports the future AI use cases that you want to accomplish, right? So at this stage, it's really about building your architectural environment. And the use of AI at this stage is going to be, again, primarily ad hoc and then like kind of augmenting your technical skills, right? Development skills, things like that. Once you've made that investment and you've built that data preparation, that architecture that supports what you want to do, the next phase beyond that, level 6, we talked about last time, is automation via AI. You now have the knowledge bank, you have the structure, you have the data to build automation on specific high value processes. So that is a single workflow that is important. You can automate it all or almost all of it with AI tools. That's extremely valuable. And that kind of leads us into the phase that we're going to talk about today, which is level 7 AI vendor replacement. So, if you are a business, you use vendors. I know this. I am a vendor. Businesses use us for specific functionality, right? If you're a small business, you likely outsource, let's say 20, 50, 75 employees, whatever. You likely outsource most of the things that are not your core business, right? So if you are a bakery, for example, you might outsource marketing, right? If you're a small manufacturer, you might outsource a lot of the stuff that is going to happen that isn't involved in the making of your widget, whatever it is that you produce, right? That's a really common thing for smaller businesses because they don't necessarily have the expertise in like marketing or content creation or finance or data or whatever. And so they outsource that to vendors because it's cheaper to do that than it is to hire a full-time employee, right? But there's a big chunk of those. If you're larger, let's say if you're a large business, and if you're a mid-sized business, you kind of get a little bit of both. You might outsource specific things that you don't have inside house, and then you also are going to augment some skill sets. But if you're a big business, primary reason that you have vendors is there's a few reasons. It's not to outsource functions that you don't have internally, because if you're large, you probably have all of those functions internally. Instead, the reason why big businesses, for the most part, contract vendors is A, extend their skill sets, right? So we have a team that does this, but maybe we need a little bit more skill, a little bit more specialization, a little bit more expertise, right? So that's one reason. B, extend capacity. We're doing a major system implementation. We have project managers, but we need more because this is a major change initiative. So we contract more project managers to do this change initiative, right? And then the other reason is strategic. We need guidance, help, strategic guidance. So we're going to contract specific expertise that can help us make a strategic plan, right? Those are the three most common reasons why larger companies contract vendors. So some of those, like strategic, might be less likely to be replaced by AI, although eventually that'll probably happen. But capacity extension and skill set extension, which applies for both big businesses and smaller businesses, that's going to start being replaced by AI very, very soon in the future. And that's this next level 7 of evolution, right? Because if you've got to the point where you have the architecture that supports building autonomous AI agents, predictive models, redesigned workflows with AI, then you can build AI agents that have knowledge of your business and the skill sets that can replace most of the external vendors that you're going to use, right? So you have a marketing external vendor that does content creation, social media, video, whatever, all that. All of that eventually will be able to go because you'll be able to build AI agents that can create it, and they already have all of the knowledge of your business to become much more effective, right? If you outsource things like analytics development, we do a lot of that. We do Power BI development, right? And eventually, it's not that great yet, but eventually, all of that will be able to be done by AI, which is a bummer for me, but I have to be realistic about what's coming over the next 5 to 10 years, right? In addition to that, if you're extending capacity, right? Like we need more project managers because we're doing a major system implementation. Well, with AI agents that are trained on all of your information and already have the technical skills and knowledge to understand the system workflows and how they're configured and all of that, you'll be able to take like one project manager and they'll be able to do the work of like 10, right? So you might still have a project manager, but you won't have to contract, expensive PMs on 6-12 month contracts for a specific system implementation, because you'll be able to use like the one that already works for you as a full-time employee and augment them with AI agents and replace that vendor engagement, right? So at this level 7, you've built the architecture that supports it. You started automating specific processes. You will now be able to redesign your processes around really integrating AI into them to the point that you can eliminate vendors, right? And the capabilities of AI that you're going to be working at this point with are predictive modeling with your data, process redesign, again, talking about being able to redesign your processes and completely replace, or at least primarily replace, all of the external vendor spend that you're currently spending on third parties, right? You're not going to get rid of all of it, right? If you're a small business, you got a fractional CFO or something like that, you probably still want that financial leadership, right? Or if you're a big business and you're contracting somebody who's really experienced for a strategic plan, that experience is still really valuable. That can't be augmented away with AI. But a lot of the stuff that vendors do for you, you're going to be able to replace it with AI agents once you have that data architecture to support them, right? And so you're going to be able to start to just strategically replace vendors that you have with AI, right? You're going to be able to go down your financials and say, this is external spend, this external spend, this external spend. And you're going to be able to start checking it off on like, okay, we move that in house with these AI agents. We move that in house with these AI capabilities. We move that in house because we gave our PM AI agents to augment him, and now he doesn't need that contract support, right? You're going to be able to do a lot of that. It takes a lot to get there, but that's why we went through levels 1 through 6, is because you've paved the way to be able to get to that point where you can start to accomplish those things. Now, that's, as a business, that's what this level is. As a service provider, if you are a business to business service provider, this is probably a little bit terrifying to you. I am one of those, so I understand it's terrifying to me as well. But my message to you, just like it is to myself, is external spend, it's not going to completely disappear, but you're going to have to be extremely smart about how you evolve your business, right? If you are an analytics firm, big chunk of the work that we do is like BI development and stuff like that. If you're an analytics firm, well, in 5 to 10 years, that's not going to be a piece of your business anymore, right? Like AI is going to be able to do most of that. At least that's what I believe. I could be wrong. I'd like to be wrong if I'm being honest, but I don't think I'm wrong, right? So if you're selling Power BI Tableau development right now, cool. Enjoy it while it lasts. It's still really valuable for businesses right now, and it's still going to be valuable in the future. It's just that you're not going to be the one developing it in the future, right? AI is going to be the one developing it in the future. If you are a bookkeeping firm, right? And maybe you do taxes, but you also do bookkeeping for a business, CPAs, etc., and you're doing small business. You better start really thinking about how you're going to drive value beyond that, right? Because all that's coming, right? All of that's coming. If you are a technical consulting app development firm, you better figure out how you're going to not get killed by Replit and things like that, right? Like, so I don't say this to be like super, the sky is falling for B2B services businesses, because I don't think that that's true. But it doesn't do you any good to put your head in the sand. You should be very thoughtful about what the next 5 to 10 years looks like when it comes to how you evolve your service offerings, because there's a lot of things that are going to come, and there's a lot of vendors that are going to be replaced with AI functionality as more and more organizations start to develop into these more mature levels of AI maturity. So, anyway, that's my soapbox for B2B service companies like my own. I'll hop off of it. I hope this was valuable. Again, this is pretty surface level, right? I'm trying to get you guys familiar with the framework and how it evolves. We'll do more in-depth content. We're also going to have a webinar coming up on May 5th or 6th, I believe. I don't know, but we're posting about it on LinkedIn, where we're going to talk about, we're going to do a live session talking about integrating AI into operations. So register for that if you'd like. Check it out on our LinkedIn page. Appreciate you guys for listening. Have a great day.